Hey there, AfterBuzz fans. Are you ready to discuss Lee Daniels' newest docu-soap, late night drama, Star? We are. Check us out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my.
You know, we have to start with the diva.
Exactly.
We can't come into this without paying homage to a diva, because clearly we are dealing with a set of divas, and it all starts with a girl group, right?
Yes.
One of the biggest stars.
This song is perfect.
This
I like
is
it.
I'm Jill Munroe. Thank you for checking out the pilot episode of the after show for Star, Lee Daniels' Star. I'm joined tonight with my co-hosts, Raquel and Ivanna. Please introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hey everyone, my name is Raquel Harris, and you can follow me on all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
Hey everyone, I'm Ivanna Williams. You can follow me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams and on Instagram at Ivanna.Williams.
And I neglected to tell you where you can find me. You can find me at Stiletto Jill, and of course follow AfterBuzz TV, because if you aren't, why not? So, ladies, let's get right into it.
Okay.
We, jump in
I'm ready.
and see Star with that blonde hair, cell phone conversation with her girl, Alexandra, in a kind of rundown environment, and we right away see that Star is a firecracker. What did you think from the opening? How did the setup feel to you?
You know, I'm in love with Star. I love everything about Star. I think that I can't wait to see how she progresses and how she grows as a businesswoman, and I love that they're kind of taking it on the other perspective of having a white girl that's coming, and trying to strive, and she comes from pretty much nothing. So having that other perspective, and then her meeting a bougie black girl, I love
that. Coming off guard, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting her to come from where she's from, and then we see her friend just her pad was laid out.
All the trappings, just everything.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, so that was very interesting, and it's really natural too. I like that.
Lee Daniels said that he did that to help race relations in the country right now. So if you think that helps. So we see that Star is obviously, in a foster home. She goes in. Her situation looks kind of drab, especially when you contrast it to what we just saw with her friend Alexandria. And, her foster mom wants her to wash the dishes. And she's just like, no, I'm sick of this.
Right. And I love that, because she's just like, I'm tired of doing this. I want to get up and do exactly what I want to do, and that's be a star. And so and then on top of that, I love how they kind of implemented how people kind of reach out to one another, like on social media. And it's so crazy, because you do meet people that way on social media, and you become friends with them without even knowing them, which is scary, but at the same time, it worked in their benefit.
I was it was scary, but it was bold. So
it was.
If you want it, go after it.
They connected with each other, obviously, over music. They both feel like they're missing something family-wise, as we kind of see, because we see a little bit, we see Alexandra's laid out, and her dad is Lenny Kravitz as Roland, who looked amazing.
Yes. As awful as he was, as awful as his character is, it's just like...
His acting was good too, because I thought it was going to be kind of fake a little bit. I was like, I don't know what to expect, but it was good. It was very natural. I mean,
Lenny's done a lot of acting and stuff. I actually used to work with him back in the day at Virgin, so he's like super cool and stuff like that. So it's good to see him in this, I guess an offshoot of who he really is as a person, kind of. But so that was exciting. So from there, we see Star is headed down to
pick up her
child services office.
Right. I've never heard that in my life. Somebody's like, just process me out. Like, I don't even want to be here no more. I've never seen that before.
I mean, she clearly was a troublemaker.
Right.
Yeah. Six families, they said.
But she's Queen Finesse. She was Queen Finesse, though, for that. And I love the fact that she was like, look, I'm getting my sister. So regardless of however you feel, I was happy that she did that, and I'm glad that. But it took me for a loop. I didn't think she was going to stab old boy. Well, I was like, sheesh.
I mean, first she had to finesse the social worker out of the information. That could have been her job. And she's like, you know what we went through, and you're still sitting here. So she was determined. So we get to see the situation with her half-sister, and that was really sad, obviously.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw her stab him, he was on the floor, I'm like, I don't think he's dead. But I was like, well, okay, he's not moving. I did not think he was dead.
It was too weird. Like, they just got out of there. They didn't look for a knife or anything.
Right?
I'm like, you guys aren't wiping anything down, taking the thing. And like, not to be too negative Nancy or too realistic, but nobody was looking for you. How you jet up out after your foster father gets stabbed and nobody's looking for you?
Because it's been like a week, at the time.
By the time they get to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, girl.
So it was a little weird. Pittsburgh, in his car. Nobody's reporting.
But she switched the plates though.
She switched the plates, but I'm saying
that was smart. That was smart.
The foster child is missing, the car is missing, and he's been stabbed. And nobody has some questions.
It's an alarming situation.
Right. There's no APB, but you know, hey, things happen. That was kind of a clue that, oh well, maybe we'll see him again.
But I'm happy. I mean, not someone getting stabbed, but I mean, I wish you would have just like clunked him or something, like not stabbed him. But at the same time, I was too. I didn't want to say that. I did not want to say that. But if I saw my sister, like, you know, and that happening, you probably just, hey, it is what it is.
You take care of your family.
Exactly, exactly. I just don't, you know, to cover up, you know, the police coming after you and then going back to jail.
Simone obviously is processing all sorts of feelings. We don't know how long that had been going on, or
she's doing a lot of self-medicating through this whole episode.
Yeah, she really is. It appears that could be wrong. We'll probably find out later that the foster mother might have had an inkling of what was going on with it.
I could see it on her face whenever he was like, "No, I'll take her. She don't have to go." I'm like, she knows that something is up.
Right.
But
she knows something is right.
If you know if something, if you know something's up, why are you just continuing to let that happen? That's
just she may be being abused as well, and they don't have the way out.
Maybe so. No, maybe so. Very, very, very valid.
I think we'll see that.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, she, you know, clunks him.
So Star has a plan.
Stab again.
You know, they're going to come together and form a group. Alexandria has been writing all these dope songs for them. They're going to go to Atlanta. She got information that there's a woman named Carlotta that knew her mom in some capacity with their mom, and they're going to go to Atlanta. Why is Atlanta always the promised land and everything?
It is. I mean, it is. You know, I mean, just because, I mean, they're kind of booming. You know, LA's obviously like the kingpin of all entertainment, but Atlanta's definitely a growing spot, especially for black.
It's also known as Black Hollywood.
Exactly. So, and Star, it's like she had this planned out. I promise you, she was in that foster care like, look, I'm writing down every single thing I'm about to do.
She had bullet points.
She really did. Because how she finessed so quickly, like, okay, good, I got you out the way. Let me take care of this foster dad, and we're good. We're fine.
Yeah. So they get to Atlanta, they find Carlotta. First they hit the shop, and there was a lot of shade being thrown around from everybody.
Because it's so real. When you go to a black hair salon, you see
a white girl come in, you're like, what are you about to be on?
Right.
So
or what you doing, or what you about, what's
like, what are you playing?
Right.
Like, are you about to be a culture vulture? Are you about to, what's going on with
exactly.
you?
What are you gonna exactly. And I'm very, very happy that Lee Daniels does a very good job of implementing the LGBTQ community, and I was very, very happy to see King of Maya, as we talked about before, and it was...
I have followed her on Instagram for years, and I felt like she was going to get to this point.
The magical unicorn, the boy with the magical unicorn horn, or something like that. Something crazy, like his little... her little thing. I love her. She looked fabulous, and I was really, you know, proud because she did her thing. She like held her own.
Right, and as fabulous as she is, she came off as very shy. So the way that she turned her character around, like in real life, to her character in the show, I was amazed. Yeah, and then I got to see my girl Jocelyn Hernandez.
Right,
that was so
later
random.
on. Yeah,
but she was where she strip club.
You know.
It was like, all right, this is perfect.
Before we get to Jocelyn, we got to talk about Queen Latifah as Carlotta. We meet her in the church, just belting out, you know, I think what was foreshadowing of the episode about change, and we see Star and Simone come in, and Alexandria, I don't know if she's really an atheist, but she's like not feeling the church thing.
What did she call her?
She a witch.
The witch.
She called her a witch. And honestly, I was like, oh God.
That
like,
was hilarious.
The entire time, like, I know, and I was like, you are doing everything for the black community to hate you right now, and I can't do it. But I mean, and I get it, but that also opens up another conversation for the black community, is that you don't have to be Baptist, you don't have to be Catholic, you don't have to be Christian. You can be of whatever faith that you choose, and your black card cannot be revoked.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We have to be accepting of that.
Absolutely.
And so I'm glad that he touched on that in the show.
So you could tell that Simone is really desiring she misses the connection to their mother. Obviously, Star and Simone hadn't seen each other since Star was 13. I'm not sure how old Simone was, but she's longing for a mother figure because she immediately asked Carlotta, are you going to be our new mother?
Yeah.
And Star's like, well, everything was fine in our foster care, you know. Carlotta sees right through and was like, what, you guys need a place to stay? What's going on? And then we get a glimpse
like, yeah, we do.
of Derek,
or not,
who is Quincy Brown, you know, Sean Diddy Combs' son. He was looking all cute.
I did not know how his character was going to be, but I was so surprised to see him in, like, you know, talking about racial inequality.
Right.
Black Lives Matter.
He was a very woke young man.
Yeah, it was so new to see him that way. I was like, okay.
And I like that he intrigued Alexandria because we know she's kind of not on that. That's not really in her sphere of interest right now.
She also hasn't had to fight for anything really because she has so much privilege. So she just kind of doesn't understand. So, but I think he's going to open her up to that as well.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
exciting to see.
I think Star's going to kind of turn her out and help her kind of understand what the streets are like more so too, like how to teach her how to be a hustler too. Because I mean, I definitely would say that she stands up for herself because the way that she was standing up for her dad, like, look, I'm trying to be something greater than this. I understand, like, I can always support you and do the great things. And she even had to put him on point, like, look, I need you to do better music. I need Alexandria to tell a lot of artists that do the stuff that, you know, everybody loved, like, and the fact that she you know, was standing up to her dad and pretty much trying to have her own independence. I like that. So
so she's gonna be a good character. I like that Star had it all planned out. Look, we need to get to Atlanta, we need a place to stay, we got to get a studio, we got to get to Jay, future or tired ass 50. That was what she said. Shots.
Yeah, that was Lee Daniels shade.
Shout out to Power.
Lee Daniels, because he's always trying to compare Power to Empire.
He is, and I was like, all right.
Caught that.
It was so much, and I was like, okay, writers, I see that.
I like that.
We peeped that shade. We peeped that shade.
I got you.
So well timed, well played. So we see the girls start to rehearse, and right away we see that they clearly have something. Like when they started performing together in the bedroom, you see their steps, you see they're in sync, that they are really putting effort into their craft. So I like to see that because, you know, a lot of times some artists now, they don't put effort into their live performance. And since this is, you know, a reflection of what's going on now, so much with the social media and then wanted to create a buzz, I like to see that they were putting in the work.
And they all bring something different. How did you feel about when they were trying to figure out who was going to be lead?
I thought that was a valid point because that's the main problem. We know that's what break up group. That's what breaks up groups. Everybody wants to be lead. The lead gets the most attention. You know, the best thing about having a group to me is that there's something for everybody. So if you like the shy girl, the bad one, you know, whatever you kind of want to get into, there's options for you there.
But in a girl group, I mean, they are going to have to choose at some point anyways because, like you said, you know, in the girl group, they can all have different elements, but there's always that one lead singer.
Exactly.
And they create a lead singer anyway. So.
Right, exactly. And she's honestly, I mean, I feel like she deserves to be the lead because she's the one that put it all together. So at the end of the day, she reached out to Alexandria. You know, she went to go get her sister. She's the one that had the idea to have a girl group and to go to the strip club and find this manager. Yeah. So it's like, for me...
Well, before we get to the strip club, we go to that bum club in Decatur for the contest.
Right.
Whenever he said their names, he was like, which actually spells ass. And I was like, I didn't even catch that. I did not even catch that.
But I'm just like, why are you coming for them like that, though? That's in my mind.
That's how it is.
You know why?
It is at that club.
Because it's a little backwoods club and because they saw a white girl. You know, come on now. They're like, what's this about to be? Y'all playing.
Y'all playing. They did not take it seriously.
You know, but what is Amaya's character's name? Cotton? That's her name? Okay, so Cotton was creeping in the back. You know, she was ear hustling, watching them
when they zoomed in on her face and she's like that, I was like, oh,
I guess, you know, she was scheming and plotting, plans firing off in her head like, I could use this. This could be a moneymaker for me.
Man, for real. And that I was...
And it could be.
Exactly. I was like, okay, step up. And she, like, the fact that you always need that one person, and hopefully she ends up being their manager, like, and then just kind of branches everything out for them. Since she already knows how everything works, it's like it'll be perfect.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a fight between three people because of it. Might be Amaya's character, might be Queen Latifah. She might want to manage them, and then that other, what's that manager's name?
Jahil.
But see, it'll work because it'll be a mother-daughter.
It would, but I think all three of them are going to try and fight to be their manager.
We'll see what happens because, you know, from there, she basically hits up Star like, yo, you want some real money, you want some real connections, this ain't it. I know where they are.
You have to go to the strip club.
You're in Atlanta. You can't not go to the strip club. Like, you can't.
Exactly.
That's not a lie.
Yeah.
A lot of business takes place. A lot of business transactions
And we always hear that, you know, your music ain't popping unless it's in the strip club.
Right.
And that's where it starts. If the strippers like it, then that's when it goes to the radio.
If it's tsunami in
Yeah,
there,
you know what I
there's a
mean?
lot of business because it's alcohol and free-flowing good time.
It's a lot of money in a strip club.
Right. So, Cotton just finessed, got her in, got a little look for her to put in and was like, okay, you don't have to show your body, but get him into the champagne room, schemes. And that's where your girl Jocelyn popped up. I thought that was perfect place for Jocelyn to be.
Jocelyn.
You know what I'm saying?
I love Jocelyn Hernandez.
Jocelyn in the strip club, back to her roots.
Puerto Rican princess. Come on,
that's
the show.
big for her. Good for her from going from Love and Hip Hop to Atlanta to having a little, guest spot role on Star.
Absolutely.
Big things for her. I'm
She's
sure she wants
amazing.
an acting career.
Yeah. I think, and she did well. I mean, for her little
She
scene.
played herself.
Yeah.
Basically. And that was easy.
I mean, some people don't play themselves
but
well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
she
yeah.
played
And I
herself,
don't know. I just like her vibe. She's just.
I was wondering how Cotton was gonna try and finagle that whole situation. I'm like, what is she gonna do to try and make Jocelyn get up? But
What you say? Your mom
has diabetes?
Diabetes is acting up. You better go check on mama.
Right.
You can't leave mama out there.
Right. And she's like, are you serious? You better not be lying. So
Don't
it's like,
lie.
wait, so is she gonna come back and be like, so you was lying?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
but that's
So
funny.
Star gets in there and gives him a lap dance and a vocal performance that obviously was incredibly intriguing to him.
Yeah, and I love the musical aspect of it too.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was like,
I wasn't either. You know what? That
reminded me of Chicago.
It does of Chicago. And remember that video that Sierra had where she had the bar and she had a scene. Was it Ride? I can't remember. It reminded me of that video too.
Yeah.
But it was very
dope.
Yeah. I like the musical numbers. So
I do too. I do too.
It's really good.
Yeah, for sure. And it introduces the black community to musicals more so too, because I don't
Which
see
I love.
Yeah, because I mean, The Wiz was obviously like one of the
Dream Girls. Maybe they're Hamilton. So there's things,
We're starting to break into it. So I was, and Lee Daniels obviously loves musical numbers in his shows. So I wasn't shocked.
And that was part of his inspiration for it too, was Dreamgirls. And so I definitely see where some of those, he's pulling some of those elements from Dreamgirls. I didn't think she was gonna go as far as kiss that manager though. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Star is willing to use sex as a weapon. She knows what it is. She has in her mind, I'm going to go this far. She's not.
Right. Yeah, I will say that even the outfit that she had on. Yeah, she's very in control. She knows what she will do and how far she'll go. And she's like, look, I mean, she comes from that more or less, and she's like, look, I know how it works. I know exactly what to say to these men to get what I need from them, and I'm with it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get us a record deal because Performing Indicator.
Okay.
Ass. Is that what he said?
Ass.
Is not gonna work for us. Not really. So pop it on a handstand. So
pop it on a handstand.
So Jahil Riviera, that was the music manager's name. So he gave her a card, told her that he was getting ready to book a party for an NFL player. What was his name? Hank.
I think it was the son of.
It's his godson.
Yeah,
his godson.
But
I was like, how's this gonna go?
But before we get to that party, remember, we see Star walk outside and she sees Cotton in a little situation in the corner.
She can choke out.
I love Star. I'm here for Star.
It
was such a trigger though, but I was so happy to see Star stand up for her because
I was like, Star gonna stab two people in one episode?
She might.
Star is the superhero.
Yeah,
She's like, look, you're not taking me out, and I'm not afraid of anybody.
It was definitely dope to see her stand up for a transgender woman that way.
Yeah,
but she didn't. I mean, she didn't know that at first. You know, that was the first time that if you weren't familiar with who King Amaya is, that you realized that Cotton. Has some secrets.
Some secrets,
which is
but
fine.
I was happy that she was like, no, he was the guy that Amaya was messing with was like, oh, you need to tell people, what's going on, and she was like, no, you knew what was going on.
And they do know.
Right,
exactly.
He might have got embarrassed.
A lot of times, but a lot of times when men don't want other people to know, then that's when they turn violent on trans women, and that's not okay.
Right.
And it's like, you did know this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not tricking you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So and she still got her money. So hold it down.
Yeah,
Star,
right.
Hold it
Money.
down. Make sure you get the coins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not getting beat up for nothing.
Reparations.
Right. So that's an allegiance, and we go back to the shop where Blonde Bang is still throwing major shade. Did you see when Star checked him like, what are you doing? She stood up like, what you want?
Yeah, right.
So.
And then she kind of raised another controversial topic is black people being racist against white people and saying, you don't like me, you don't know where I've come from, you don't know what I've been raised with, you don't know the people that have taken care of me, you are racist. So I think just that opens up a whole nother conversation about racism and how people define it. So I was happy that Lee kind of implemented that. And I kind of like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like she can be racist or black people can be racist too?
I don't think racist is the term. I do think it's prejudice is the term that you use for that. And that is true, though. Black people can definitely be prejudiced, and there was a lot of judgment.
They come in with stereotypes and judgment.
I know. I can tell he definitely didn't like how the girl just came in and like has a job. Basically, she's not doing it right, but she came in and has a job.
That's the privilege in itself.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So yeah,
but not keeping in mind, but he knows their backstory because he immediately said early going, when Carlotta finds out that you girls are here, she's been looking for you guys, so he understands a little bit about their history. We know at this point that Carlotta and their mother Mary were in a group together. And we later find out that Giles was a manager
or trying to make them have a come up. Right.
And basically their mother's issue was drugs, which is why everyone's so composed about Simone. So let's talk about for a second Simone and Carlotta, and Simone wanting to take those steps into church because she's hurt and she's reaching out, but Star thinks that will interfere. I think this is where we see the immaturity of Star, because remember she's just 18, so
I was wondering, like, I don't know if she was 17 or 18, but she's
they said that she was almost 17, about to age out. I'm just gonna say miraculously she's 18 now, because they had her in the club, they had them sipping drinks.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it was like a lot of.
I wasn't sure.
17, 18-ish.
Yeah. But it was definitely a struggle because she's in her like Catholic schoolgirl looking outfit or whatever, and then they have that exchange, and then Simone asks for her weed again, and I'm just like, okay, well here she is going to like it looks like she feels guilty, so she's trying to find a way to mask that and self-medicate again. And so
I mean, I'm here for Simone. I love Simone. Yeah. I think hey, pro marijuana. If you, I think
it's legal here. We're in California. It's legal here. They're in Georgia, but
right. I mean, I think Simone, she self-medicates obviously because she's just been through so much. And absolutely. I also think that Star was being very immature and very, very condescending, because if Simone has been through such a traumatic situation, she's trying to move away from it any way that she can. And if Carlotta is just trying to give her something positive, you should be open to that. And it's not saying that it's going to take away from what you came here to do, but at the same time, let Simone kind of find herself all over again, because she's young. She's younger than Star. So it's like you kind of she's in that transition of a woman trying to get her mind together. So telling her, okay, no, we need you in the business like right away, that's just not that's not healthy. So I think Star is just so hungry, and I think that's going to be a downfall for Star later on, because you're just so hungry, you're so greedy, and you're as much as you love your sister, I think it's going to turn around and it's going to seem as if she doesn't.
Yeah, she might even like forget about her in some moments. But I do think no, you're absolutely right. I definitely do agree with that.
I think it's going to be I hope Star doesn't. It's gonna suck because I love Star so much, and as hungry. It's kind of like I don't know if you guys have watched Breaking Bad, but like how he had a certain reason, right? Because some people still sleep.
I only binge watched it like 2 years ago, so I watched it like 2 weeks, maybe 2 years ago when they aired it over Christmas vacation. But it was incredible, so I'm caught up. I'm here. I feel good now.
It's on Netflix.
I do think though that church and the R&B or trap and beat music that they're making, it will interfere. Even some of our R&B greats now, they start in the church,
they struggle,
and then they ventured out into R&B because it's viewed as secular music. No matter how slow and smooth it is, it's secular, so it will interfere.
And their topics, they're very bust your brain upside your head, heartbreak. They're obviously their movements. It's a little advanced, and that's gonna go in direct opposition because Carlotta's church seems to be very, very no judgment, but just they're about the word, and they're definitely not about that secular lifestyle. Because Carlotta obviously knows what can happen in that world.
But you never know. It can intertwine. Like Ray Charles, I mean, he took his church influence and implemented it into his music. So you never know. I mean, I don't know if Lee Daniels even thought into that like that, but you never know. Simone might kind of come back and be like, "Look, I learned this in church, and we could talk about that." It could go so many different ways.
Absolutely
but
can.
Simone's definitely, I would say, my favorite right now.
Yeah, she's good. So let's talk about the birthday party at the NFL players' house. The ladies came through looking amazing. They had their outfits hooked up that apparently Cotton sewed for them.
A whole lot of sparkles.
So I I like the shiny, sparkly. Do you know what I'm saying? Give us the star effect.
Yeah,
come
for
in
sure.
looking like a celebrity. That's
Right.
what you're supposed
That was
to do.
very Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was very, very Dreamgirls. I was like, okay.
Here's my thing. Like, I love that they used the house, but you hadn't even been to the house. How did you know there was going to be stairs? How did you know you were going to walk
We
around?
are tearing this apart.
Like, I mean, that's just a small technicality for me. There was no walkthrough.
It was nothing.
They had a great performance, and obviously Star held both men's attention, kind of playing off of Jalil and the NFL player Boo. I can't remember his name.
I did at first. I didn't think that they were gonna make it because Simone again. She was like,
yeah.
I was like, she's gonna throw up before they start.
In my mind, though, I was like, nope, she got it.
Yeah,
she got it.
Okay,
because obviously she's been using some,
she's been doing this for a long time.
for a while, and has had to pull herself together in moments. Like, I thought maybe like, no, it would be too easy for them to just come in there and kill, but we need them to come in there and kill to spark
the pilot.
So,
Right.
So we got to see the potential.
Right.
So, but I mean, her being, that's going to become a problem.
It had me a little nervous.
Obviously. Obviously, you know, her, like, are we going to be able to depend on Simone? Is she going to be cool?
They're giving you therapy.
Yeah. They got us set up and ready for it. We also find out that Jalil hasn't exactly had luck in the music industry. We heard about his group, the Koreans. I think they said that was the last.
They had a Korean group, yes, before.
But they were actually called the Koreans, I think.
And it didn't work.
Not at all.
Right. Clearly.
You know.
Clearly.
That's why, that's why the lady was like not really here for it when he's like, no, seriously, I got somebody. She was like, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
Right.
Sure
obviously, they came through and they killed the scene. So now let's talk about Carlotta and Jalil's confrontation.
Their exchange,
apartment.
pretty heated.
But
I wasn't surprised though. But one thing that did catch me off guard though is whenever he called them the B word or whatever, and he was talking about Star's mom and saying that she was like you said, just like a drug addict.
She
Then he talked about
weight.
Queen Latifah's weight and stuff.
But that's the music industry. That's the we know that there are certain artists that might
you let yourself
have been more successful, or things happen if their look isn't pop star standard.
Yeah.
Right.
The look is an important part of the thing,
It's
especially as we moved
unfortunate,
into a
but
more visual era.
Because talent shouldn't be an aesthetic thing. It should just be like, okay, what can you provide? Like, can you do the job? Okay, good. You know,
definitely.
I mean, depending on like what. If you're selling sex, then okay. You know, like you have Adele, who's a more heavyset woman, but she's a beautiful heavyset woman, and she's not selling that within her music.
Exactly.
Whereas, you have Rihanna, even Beyonce, who kind of have to have that image because that's what you talk about. And society doesn't really, I would say they don't really accommodate to the heavier, bodied women. So, it sucks.
Since music videos, in the 80s and MTV, that kind of all changed.
Right.
Whereas, a different sort of playing field. So Carlotta walks in and she has beef. She said her dad told her 3 things that she should always have.
Yes.
Her Bible.
1.
Her word.
Which is what? The same thing, right?
I mean,
I was like,
Bible,
what?
No, the Bible's for guidance. Maybe that's the plan and the path. Your word is what you say you're going to do. And
you keep your word. Okay.
Right?
Oh.
Okay.
And then lastly,
I was like, scripture?
The scripture could be your blueprint. There's a couple of ways we could go.
But no,
with
it
that.
could, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
a gun.
And
I was like,
she was packing her piece.
I was like, okay, that was
what
strong.
type of management situation happened
A lot
that
of
you
them.
come
I
strapped,
can't wait to see their story
ready
unfold.
to go. Right.
And I'm like, you a church woman?
Right.
Oh.
Hey.
But obviously
in the
she
South.
was in the
so
world.
yeah, it's gods and guns in the South.
But she was in the music industry, and clearly she was in the music industry, like, what we have to say, that has to be like maybe 20 years ago, so in the 90s maybe, so
But that made me a little skeptical, because now I'm like, Queen, I don't know if you might be like out to get them in a certain way, like you might be using them. And I mean, I feel like we need to continue to watch, because we don't know how it's going to unravel what the relationship actually was with the mom, because it could have been because why she's gone. And did they tell why the mom is gone?
Well, I'm assuming she passed away from drugs.
A drug overdose is what I'm thinking.
She may not be, but they're not. She's Star said, "Mom is dead."
Well, no,
I'm
that's
here
what
to take care of you.
Right,
now.
and that's what I'm saying. How did she die?
Right.
We don't know. It could be some.
It's a lot of stabbing and shooting and
it's a lot of larceny
drug
going on.
Right. I'm like, I don't know, because and with Queen Latifah, I'm just like, as soon as she did that, I was like, okay, she's gonna be a problem later on, because that was so abrupt.
Well, to me, I didn't believe that she was going to be some sweet little church lady. I knew that.
Well,
you could just.
When she took that wig off.
When she had her red wig, like
she
even
took
in
that
church.
pin out,
That was such a black moment though.
And I loved it because that's what we do. We take our wig off.
It was like
we take our bra off.
Shake it off and put it on the thing.
A woman thing. Just I'm home.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But I do want to know just the story between those two, because there's a reason why she felt like she needed to pack a gun to meet with him
and tell him to leave those girls alone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. She thinks he's going to.
She needed some extra protection from that guy.
But I see she bought her sassy wig for the occasion. She didn't come in her like red wig that she'd been wearing. She switched it up. Maybe because like he said, he told her that you let yourself go. So I wonder if they had some type of relationship at some point.
Right. You could tell she was just thinking like, okay.
Please don't let me pop him.
All right, some shade.
No hands. Let me not throw hands on this man.
Right, that was why she pulled the gun out. She was like, oh, okay, you want to talk about weight.
Let me just brandish my weapon and remind you.
Because I'm carrying weight.
In case you forgot.
Right, right. How thorough I actually am.
Yeah.
So,
what's after that?
Well, okay, so now we see, obviously, that the group is going to probably work with Jalil again in some sort of fashion. There's going to be some conflict with Carlotta. We see Cotton's going to help smooth things along. You know what I'm saying? And so now I have a question. What do you think is going to happen when Star and Simone and Carlotta find out that Alexandria's father is Roland, like, obviously an international star?
Well, number one, betrayed.
But see, my thing is like, I don't know. I would hope they wouldn't feel betrayed, because I mean, once Alexandria tells them, "Hey, my dad is kind of a nut," that's the entire reason that I'm here. And then on top of that, she's bougie. She has money. You see what she rolled in when she, clearly she like. If I was Star, I would have been like, "What do you do?" Like, I would have checked. I mean, you've been talking to her for a good amount of time, and then you see her roll up and she, her little.
That's what happens when you meet people on the internet. You don't ask the right questions.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm like, in my mind, if I would have saw how she looked, I would have been like,
we need to have a conversation, real
quick, because you got money.
Yeah, you coming from something.
Well, she doesn't though, because her dad won't let her get money out of her trust fund.
She had money,
right?
Or something. She had some access to something a little bit more. So, I think that Star, even though Star is not keeping it 100, because obviously she didn't share with Alexandria, we killed a man on the way out here, and you roll it out in a stolen vehicle. So everybody's got a couple of secrets that they're holding back onto.
Yeah, right.
So, but I feel like Star is going to be super pissed. I think that is going to be a problem, but not so much a problem to split the group up.
I said betrayed because that could have been like their easy way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Star and Simone want this so bad. Well, mainly Star, really. And, they would have been like, Star would have been like, okay, why didn't you just tell me? You could have just let us know, and we could have just used this vessel, your dad,
But at the same time, is it their business? Like, if that's my family, and I want to get away from that, I'm running away. Why am I obligated to tell you anything about my life? Like, I didn't ask you about your life and about how you have this woman that's pulling guns on people. Like, I mean, I'm moving in with you. Like,
I think pretty soon it will become their business.
Yeah.
I mean, it will become their business, but at the same time, for me, if I'm meeting someone, what my parents do has nothing to do with what I do. Like that, and especially if you have your own money and he has his own money, and on top of that, he don't want to help her. If anything, I feel like he's probably going to come in.
But she blatantly lied. Remember, she said her dad was a surgeon that didn't understand. So that's kind of the thing. It's one thing if you maybe withhold information like it never came up. But when you willfully misdirect me,
yeah,
I don't know.
You're right.
But we'll see.
I guess I would probably be like, I mean, I don't know. I'm like a person that's like, well, I'm in it and I'm not in it. So it's like, if that's not my...
But you're in it. You guys are in a group together. We're trying to make it happen.
I guess it's like, if...
That's a tough one, right?
I don't know, because if I was Alexandria, I would know exactly why I wasn't telling them who my dad is, because he's crazy. So it's like, if he's gonna use me, because once we start rising, because his stardom is falling.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, she probably knows he's gonna take advantage of us.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it. I do feel like she could have been honest, but she still could have been honest about the fact that he's crazy. So that I agree. I'm like on a devil's
Everybody
advocate.
has secrets.
Right. They do. They do.
Secrets already.
It's even called secrets.
Yeah,
ladies.
trust.
So now that we kind of are set up for everything to come, do you guys have any predictions you want to lay out for the upcoming season? We aren't back until January 4th. That's when the next episode airs, but let's come with some predictions.
Well, I mean,
Oh my!
I think the stepdad or the foster dad is going to come back with a
We saw
vengeance.
him wake up.
Right.
I
Nobody
didn't hear
still-
that last sentence of what he said.
He said no. They asked him, is there anybody that you could think of that would want to do? Because the thing is, he can't come out and say, because we got to think about it. He was on top of his foster daughter
You know
when
what I
he was
mean?
stabbed. So that
You
would
better
be an
not know
issue.
anybody.
Yeah. Right.
Act like you don't know.
Right.
Shoot.
So
Right. Seriously.
he's definitely going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I think one thing I think too is the blood on her shirt. I feel like that's gonna come in somewhere.
Yeah, because she wanted to save it.
Yes, because that was right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Simone, just
gross.
throw the. I'm like,
really
just throw the
gross,
shirt
though.
away.
But,
Why?
you know, she's a little touched. She's dealing with some different
she's a little
things
touched. I've
right
heard that so
now.
long. She's a little. She is a little touched. She literally
A little
and
situation
figuratively.
happening.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
That
It's
was
okay.
bad. It's okay.
But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, something in me makes me think that that foster dad is gonna hunt Simone down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
but
I
that's
don't know what kind of
weird.
revenge he's gonna seek. I think he
he
wants to
doesn't even
stay
know
low
about
because he
Star
doesn't want to
yet.
get cops involved in it because of what he's done as well. But he's most definitely gonna hunt her down.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Star can get him again because it just. I know, no, really, and just take him out. Because I'm just like, it's terrible that that she had to go through that, and it sucks that the foster system just. Why is this happening so often? It's so prevalent. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
And
do
then-
appreciate that they touched on that because it is
Yeah.
very
And for
real.
the money, like,
Yes.
you know, when the
Oh my
Star's
God.
stepmom was like, you're not worth the,
The money that
foster
we're
mom,
getting.
you aren't worth the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
was
inhumane.
that was rude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Simone might bite back though. Hopefully
she
she does.
will.
I think she probably will be the one that takes him out.
Oh
And
yeah.
then-
She's gonna definitely like reach that boiling point.
But that blood shirt.
Ugh.
No more Eddie Winslow. That's who played the character of the foster dad. So I am predicting some big things for Derek and Alexandria. We're going to see the blossoming. I think we're going to see Alexandria get more in touch with her black side through Derek. So I think that's something that we will look forward to.
Her black card's revoked.
It's not revoked yet. You know what I'm saying? It's
on
just teetering.
suspension?
It's in the balance.
Right.
Teetering.
We're gonna hold this while you get your life
But
together.
It's in review.
I like their as far as like, you know, color goes, seeing a light skinned guy and then his love interest is a dark skinned black girl, we don't really see that much.
Yeah.
It's always like the love interest is a light skinned girl with like light eyes and curly
Or
hair.
he would have went for Star or something
Exactly,
like that.
just straight
so.
up a white girl. So just to see that, the change, I really do appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
I think in the next episode though that they're gonna sign. I think it's gonna move really quickly.
You think
They're gonna
so?
sign. Yeah.
Yeah, to get the story going along,
Yeah.
because that's when we get the tension.
Yeah.
I guess so. I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
Well, we will find out January 4th, ladies. That is it, AfterBuzz TV, for the first episode of Star,
This
the
was
pilot
fun.
episode. It was
Yes.
great. So make sure you guys check us out. We will be on Wednesdays after the show. I am your host, Jill Munroe. You can find me everywhere on social media at Stiletto Jill.
And my name is Raquel Harris, and you can find me on all social media as well at Raquel Harris TV.
I'm Ivanna Williams. You can find me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams and on Instagram at Ivanna.Williams.
So that's it for today. Make sure you check us out next week. If you're listening on iTunes, give us 5 stars and
Yes.
a thumbs up
Yes.
on YouTube. We will see you next
Tell
time.
a friend, tell a friend.
Yes.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.